ISO 639 is a set of standards by the International Organization for Standardization that is concerned with representation of names for language and language groups. It was also the name of the original standard, approved in 1967 and withdrawn in 2002. The ISO 639 set consists of 6 parts. The 6 parts of the standard, each part of the standard is maintained by a maintenance agency, which adds codes and changes the status of codes when needed. Characteristics of individual codes: scopes, individual languages, macrolanguages, collections of languages, group, rest group. Dialects, reserved for local use, special situations, types, living languages, extinct languages, ancient languages, historic languages, constructed languages, bibliographic and terminology codes. Bibliographic, terminology, relations between the parts. The first 4 columns contain codes for a representative of a specific type of relation between the parts of ISO 639. For example, there are 4 elements that have a code in Part 1, have a BT code, and are macrolanguages per Part 3. One representative of these 4 elements is Persian, Fars. Codes in Part 1 have 1 or 2 codes in Part 2. Every language that has 2 codes in Part 2 has 1 code in Part 1, 1 code, Eneng, 2 codes, Tegedu. Part 2 has reserved codes and 3 special codes, Chi, QTZ, Mul, and ZXX. Individual languages in Part 2 have a code in Part 3 and have 1 or no code in Part 1, 1 code, Engen, no code, Ast. Collective codes in Part 2 have a code in Part 5, cover different languages, Afar equals Afar, cover same languages, Os equals Os. One collective code in Part 2 has a code in Part 1, BBH. Some codes in Part 5 have no code in Part 2, SQJ. Some codes in Part 3 are macrolanguages, they may have no Part 2 code but a Part 1 codes, and their containing languages have codes in Part 2 and Part 1, HBS SHA. BOS, HRVSCR, SRPSCCBS, HR, SR, a Part 2 code and a Part 1 code, number 1, while their containing languages also have codes in Part 1 and Part 2, no. Non, Nob Non, Nob NN, NB, no Part 1 code, 2 Part 2 codes, FAS, MSA, Ski, so per FAS, May MSA, Alb Ski, Cheatso. Code space, Alpha 2 code space, Alpha 2 codes are used in ISO 639-1. When codes for a wider range of languages were desired, more than 2-letter combinations could cover, ISO 639-2 was developed using Alpha 3 codes. Alpha 3 code space, Alpha 3 codes are used in ISO 639-2, ISO 639-3, and ISO 639-5. The number of languages and language groups that can be so represented as 263 equals 17,576. The common use of Alpha 3 codes by 3 parts of ISO 639 requires some coordination within a larger system. Part 2 defines 4 special codes MIL, und, MIS, ZXX, a reserved range Chi QTZ, and has 23 double entries. This sums up to 520 plus 23 plus 4 equals 547 codes that cannot be used in Part 3 to represent languages or in Part 5 to represent language families or groups. The remainder is 17,576 euro 547 equals 17,029. There are somewhere around 6 or 7,000 languages on Earth today. So those 17,029 codes are adequate to assign a unique code to each language, although some languages may end up with arbitrary codes that sound nothing like the traditional name, S, of that language. Alpha 4 code space, Alpha 4 codes is proposed to be used in ISO 639-6. The upper limit for the number of languages and dialects that can be represented is 264 equals 456,976. See also, IETF language tags, ISO 3166, ISO 15924, ISO, SIL, and BCP language codes for constructed languages, language code, language families and languages, list of languages, list of official languages, notes and references. External links, official ISO 639-1/array Infoterm, official ISO 639-2/array Library of Congress, official ISO 639-3/array SIL International, official ISO 693-5/array Library of Congress, official ISO 639-6/array Jialang, Common Locale Data Repository which contains translations of ISO 639 codes in other languages in an XML format. The CLDR survey tool also contains a more readable format of the data.